a lot of you yesterday I noticed, okay, and a lot of people in my other algebra classes did this as well. You did not eliminate the fraction. Either we didn't spend enough time on it, or I did not explain it well enough, or you just didn't remember. Regardless of what happened, we need to make sure we know how to do that. Because if you do know how to do that, the fraction problem becomes much easier. Eliminating fractions. Today, that's all we're going to be doing. Eliminating fractions and then solving equations. Now, I should probably do new examples. I'm going to do new examples. Suppose I have something that looks like this. Suppose I have x over 3 minus 2 over 3 equals 17. Okay? Now, I could subtract 2 or add 2/3 to both sides and then multiply by 3. Okay? For some of you, that would be the easiest thing. Okay? But right now, there's a 17 right there. Okay? If I would make that 17 over 5, wouldn't be quite so easy, right? I'm not going to make it 17 over 5 right now because I want you to learn the steps first, and then I'll put more difficult problems up there. Okay? Now, in order to eliminate the fraction, I have to multiply the entire equation by a number. I want, in this case, to multiply the entire equation by a 3. Why? The denominators are 3. So I'm going to multiply the whole thing by 3. Now here's what happens, and write these steps out so you see what happens. You're taking 3 times x over 3. Okay? Minus 3 times 2 over 3 equals 3 times 17. So I took that 3 and distributed it into each part. Multiply both sides of the equation, or the entire equation, by that 3. I just inserted that 3 into all of them. Because I have to. Whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. See how I did? Yep. No, that's fine if you do it this way. Okay, now, when you multiply fractions, okay, here's how you want to set it up. And I'm going to put this in green so you can see. Okay, I'm going to put this 3 over 1 times x over 3 minus 3 over 1 times 2 over 3 equals 3 times 17. Does anybody know what 3 times 17 is? $51. Now, hold on just a minute. Well, by order of operations, what do I do first? If I were just to get this equation, what do you do first? No. What option do I do? Multiplication, subtraction, or multiplication? I do the multiplication first, right? So when I do the multiplication, 3 over 1 times x over 3, I'm going to multiply the tops and the bottoms. When you multiply fractions, you multiply the tops and the bottoms, but before you do that, what do you do first? You cross-reduce. They're different. They're very different. Cross-reduce. Is there a whole number that can divide into 3 and 3? 3. 3 goes into 3. 3 goes into 3. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put down here notes that I'm thinking in my brain, okay? So I'm going to put down think. Okay, cross-reduce. Okay, I'm thinking cross-reduce. So, can I cross-reduce? Is there a number that I can divide these by? Yes, I can divide by 3. Yay! Divide by 3. So I can cross-reduce this, divide this by 3. 3 divided by 3? 1, 3 divided by 3? So that one's done. Cross-reducing. What about this one? Can I cross-reduce this one? Sure, my 3's cross-reduced just like the other ones did. Now, here's the part that you need to see. When you multiply fractions, you multiply the tops and the bottoms. So I'm going to multiply tops. I have 1 times x. 1 times 1. Minus 1 times 2 over 1 times 1. What does that reduce to? Not 1 minus 2. X minus 2. This one reduces to x. This one reduces to 2, or 2 over 1. Now, let me ask you this. Can you solve that equation? X minus 2 equals 51. If you can solve that equation, you can solve this one, as long as you know the steps in between. And we're going to do quite a few examples today to learn those steps in between. So how do I solve this equation? Add 2 to both sides. So I have x equals 53. It's different than what you've probably done in the past, but it's very helpful to get rid of fractions. It's very, very, very helpful if you can get rid of them, especially if you don't like to deal with them. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Since their rules for doing it are all different. Okay, let's do another example. Are you ready? Whoops. Here we go. Looking at this equation, what do I want to multiply both sides or the entire equation by? 5. I want to get rid of that denominator, so I'm going to multiply the entire thing by 5. So here we go. We have 5 times 2x over 5 plus 5 times 3 over 5 equals 5 times 35, or 5 times 7, which is 35. So there's my 5 again. I distributed in each part using the distributive property. Okay, there it is, and there it is. Make sure you're writing this stuff down. Julie, please, thank you. Now, what happens here? Mercedes? Right, I want to change to fraction, 5 over 1. Now, if you don't want to write a whole other line, this is what I do. Okay, I go like this. Do you prefer that? This I don't have to change to a fraction. I prefer to just make it a fraction right there. Okay, so now, think to yourself, okay, what am I doing? Remember, I'm doing my thinking process. I have to cross-reduce before I multiply. Yeah, both 5 and 5 divide by 5, okay? So I'm going to divide by 5 here as well. So here, how many times does 5 go into 5? 1 time. How many times does 5 go into 5? And same thing here. So cross-reduce those. Make sure you're writing this down. So I'm left with 2x on the top, 2x times 1 over 1, plus, what's left here? 3 over 1 equals, well, anything over 1 is just, yeah, it's just 2x plus 3 equals 35. Can you solve this one? What do I do first? Subtract 3 to both sides. So I'm left with 2x equals 32. And then divide by 2. X equals 16. I would rather solve that equation than the one in the beginning, by changing and getting rid of that fraction. Would you? Okay, me too. Let's do another one. Suppose I have what do I want to multiply this equation by? $12. Why 12? Cody? Yeah. What are these numbers called? All my denominators can go evenly into 12, can't they? The lowest common multiple is 12. So I want to multiply the entire equation by 12. Multiply the entire equation by 12. So let's do that. Here we go. I have 12 times, or if you want to, you can put it in a fraction form right away. 12 over 1, since you know there's a fraction here, times x over 12, plus 12 over 1 times 3 over 6 equals 5. Now, cross-reduce. Okay? So this one, if I cross-reduce this, I think, okay, what goes into 12 and 12? 12, right? So they're both reduced to 1. And I'm left with just x. Now, this one, can I reduce, just make these 1s? But what goes into both of these? There's a bigger one. 6. Doesn't 6 go into 6? Does 6 go into 12? Yeah, so let's use that one. How many times can 6 go into 6? 1. And that's what I want. I want that bottom to equal 1. That's how you eliminate fractions. And how many times does 6 go into 12? Twice. Oh, I forgot to multiply 12 by... Why didn't you guys yell at me? That's the main mistake that students make, is they forget to multiply the last number by 12. I almost made that mistake. A lot of students make that mistake. Don't make that mistake. Did you see how I forgot to finish my distributive property? Don't do that. You'll get it wrong. Okay, so I'm left with, well, what happens here? I'm left with 2 times 3 over 1, right? Because I have 2 and 3 on top, equals 5 times 12 is 60. Yeah, 2 times 3 divided by 1 is just 6. 2 times 3 is 6, divided by 1 is 6. Now, can you solve this equation? How do I solve this equation? Amber? What do I do? Up here, Amber. What do I do to both sides? Yeah, subtract 6 from both sides. You writing this stuff down? Hopefully. X equals 54. So the only thing you guys need to learn is how to get from here to here, right? Or from, I'm sorry, from this fraction one down to this one, x plus 6 equals 60. You just have to learn these 2 steps right here. What to multiply by and then what happens. So we're going to do a couple more and we'll refresh your memory some more. Everybody have this one? You ready for another one? All right, let's do another one. Well, you do one that's on your homework. That way one of them's done for you. 3x over 2 plus 7x over 3 equals 46. Now, not 2, because that's not going to get rid of the 3. Yes, the lowest common multiple, or the lowest common, yes. So, in 2 and 3, the lowest one is 6. So I'm going to multiply the entire thing by 6. I got these by looking here at the denominators. Okay? What is the lowest thing that both of them go evenly into? 6. Okay, that's where I got that. Now let's do our multiplication. 6 times 3x over 2, or what can I make that 6 right away so I don't have to do it later? Yeah, 6 over 1. Plus 6 over 1 times 7x over 3 equals, don't forget this part, I'll just leave it like that. So right now you can see, if I highlight my 6's, there it is, there it is. $276. Okay, well now let's cross reduce. What do these cross reduce? This 6 and this 2. What goes evenly into both of them? Does 3 go into 2? Now, hold up. Stop. Now, 2 divided by 2. Now that we finally have the number figured out, 2 divided by 2. 1. 2 divided by 6. 3. So I have 3 times 3x. Now, what goes into 6 and 3? Think before you shout. Does 2 go into 3? No, it does not. 3 goes into 3. 3 goes into 6. Okay? Now reduce. How many times does 3 go into 3? And 3 goes into 6? 2 times. So I have 2 times 7x. Yeah, but first I want to multiply. Okay? Do all your multiplication first. So 3 times 3. Okay, I'm going to put that step in because this is a new step that we're adding. So I multiply 3 times 3 is 9x plus 14x. 7 times 2 equals 276. Now, what do? Combine like terms. Okay? Yeah. 9x and 14x? 23x equals 276. Now divide. And what do you get? Yep. Actually, is that right? 23, yeah, that's right. You're right. Any questions? Should we do one more? We'll do one more. We've got time for one more, and then I'll give you a good 10, 15 minutes to get started. You guys ready? Stay with me for one more example. Okay, it's on your homework, so if you write this down and pay attention, that's one less homework assignment you have to do, right? Well, too bad, because they all are. Hence why I looked at you and said, write them all down. Going too fast. No. I'll slow down a little bit. All right, here we go. What number am I going to multiply both of these by? Or the entire thing by? What am I going to multiply the entire thing by? 35. Very good. 35. If you're not sure, here's a shortcut, and here's how I told some of my other students to do it. If I'm not sure what to multiply by, pick the larger number, 7, and think of all the multiples. 7 times 1 is what? 7 times 2? Times 3? Times 4? Times 5? Or not 24. That's not right. I heard you guys screaming it, and I put it. 28, and then 35. Okay, now, look at 5. Does 5 go into 7? Does 5 go into 14? 21, 28, 35. Okay, so the lowest one is 35. So I'm going to multiply this whole thing by 35. So go ahead and do that. Let's do it at your do that at your seat while I do it at the board. I want to see you write this down while I do it at the board. What's my next step? Cross-reduce my multiplication. 7 and 35. What number goes into 7 and 35? No, does 5 go into 7? 7, not 5, 7. 7 goes into both of those. Okay, so I have 5 times 11, negative 11x. Plus, I want to fix that because I don't like how that looks. What are these reduced to? What are they both divisible by? 5. No, this one goes 1. This one goes plus 7 times 6x. Does anybody have a calculator and can do 35 times 39 for me? What's that? 1,365. Okay, thank you. Now add, I'm going to do what? Multiply them. So I have negative 55x plus 42x equals 1,365. Now what? Combine like terms? What do you get when you take negative 55 and positive 42? Negative 13. Okay? Look at them. One's a positive and one's a negative. The larger one, the larger absolute value has a negative, and then you just take the difference, 55 minus 42. So it's negative 13. Equals 1,365. Does anybody have a calculator and can divide those for me? Divide by negative 13. You said 105? Negative 105. That's right.